So we're nearly a week in, and US has struck Iran, and the inevitable retaliation, unrelenting barrage of rockets that can't be intercepted by overpriced, ineffective air defense missiles. That was very obvious. Then, of course, you've got the Trump administration in complete denial, hubris and denial. So where do we go from here? Well, with escalation, when they get their asses kicked, could be nukes. And I think Lavrov and Putin have said, well, Iran needs nukes. You know what that means? If Iran was to develop their own program, Israel will nuke them as an existential threat. But if they instantly, overnight, have nuclear weapons that suddenly appear from nowhere, then Israel can't nuke Iran, because then there will be a retaliation. So that means that the signs are there from the way Lavrov and Putin are talking. That's going to happen. They're just going to give Iran nukes, and then everybody will be in Kim Jong-un's shoes. You've probably seen the meme. Kim Jong-un very sad. He's missing out on all the war, that meme going around, because he's got nukes. Yeah, that'll hopefully be the situation to prevent escalation to World War III. Because let's face it, the Western administration is completely unhinged, psychotic and full of hubris and delusions. They fillet themselves with their own lies in a circle jerk, and that's how they get along. And then reality doesn't, they've been getting away with that in the West because the fox is in charge of the hen house. So if they say this, then that happens. But when they're not in charge, or they don't have military supremacy, then might does not make right. So to speak. Reality hits, and it hits hard, and pride always comes before a fall. And that's what we're witnessing here. We've heard that saying, and now you're getting a good dose of what it really means. Pride always comes before a fall. So let's go on to something else now. Let's look about these F-15 fighters. Well, there's 1970s jets, and why are they still in service? Well, they were a fantastic jet for their era, obviously. And that was the last generation, really, of real, Western supremacy as far as technological advancement is concerned, before it went into slow decline with all sorts of things, starting off with affirmative action, where women had to get in the workforce, and cosplay, being engineers and scientists. They might make good doctors, and it'd certainly make good lawyers, because they really know how to argue. But apart from that, military technology, no. Then things got a little bit diverse, and DEI and just general grifting in, administrative administration, and not unlike the Soviet Union, where there was 10 bureaucrats to one farmer, because why would you do all the hard work when you get paid the same, right? Well, we've got grifters in capitalism, always manufacturing jobs for themselves and their mates off the taxpayer or what have you, and let the working class do actual work, and then not supply them not fund them properly, etc. I'm driving on the bumpiest roads here in Australia. It's Victoria state, Australia. It's the worst roads. Like, I thought I was on a roller coaster ride at the show, coming back with a trailer on yesterday from Western Victoria. Oh my God, never seen anything. It's just ridiculous. It's third world, that sort of thing. So they run the country to the ground with the greed, and of course, funding wars and everything through in the military-industrial complex, and just Israel in general. Just an absolute write-off, the West. Economic, manufacturing, industrialisation is concerned. They can't produce the weapons. They're going to run out. There we go. We got Trump filleting himself with lies that we got endless missiles, endless munitions, which is code for we're going to run out next week. And I don't know how long this war will go for, but it seems that Iran won't stop, and they will have to fight. That's the way it looks like. And that being the case, sorry, distracted by where I've got to go here. Hopefully that'll see the end of Israel's dominance. Obviously, the Cuckleby interview with Carlson, where he said, Israel's entitled to take everything. All of these Arab neighbours, which they have puppet regimes in control of, they'll be overthrown. They're already got the message from Iran. Iran's targeted their air bases. There's been a false flag by Israel blowing up some oil facilities, I think in Saudi Arabia, as a false flag to try and get them to go to war with Iran. They're desperate. Israel is copying so much, an absolute pummeling, and probably, hopefully this will end the Zionist regime. With a bit of luck, this could be the nail in the coffin, because if it isn't going to happen sooner, it's going to happen later with the Z-Gen all awake, all pissed off with the hegemony of Zionism. Not like these ignorant boomers where they just had TV all their life and believe what they see on the TV. They're completely out of touch. That doesn't work anymore. I mean, for God's sake, that the Russians behind the Epstein files may have worked on boomers, but just the most basic of critical thinking. Everything he did was, he's Jewish, he's Israeli. Max was Mossad. Everything was Jewish. Everything was Israel. Everything about it. Blackmailing US politicians, getting them in their pocket with the AIPAC, and they got the nerve to say it was Russia. What did then Russia, with all this control over the USA, got the USA to put sanctions against Russia and start a war in Ukraine, and then go on and fight wars on behalf of Israel because Russia's in control of the Epstein files and not Israel? I mean, can boomers actually believe that? Well, apparently so. And well, we all know that they had lead in paint when they were born, so maybe that's the reason. But I don't. Boomers, oh my God, that's just shaking my head sideways. Really. Well, they're really old now, and they're going to, retire, die in an old people's home from dementia, from the lead getting to their brains, and then they'll be replaced by Z-Gen. And well, this could happen. This war may cause the collapse of the dollar. I don't know what their plan is regarding that, or how things are going. I'm not going to predict anything financially. We could be up shit creek big time. All I know is that expect insane fuel costs soon. But let's not forget the reason why they have so much power is because they own the banks. They own the fiat. They own the Federal Reserve, period, end of story. They print IOUs and spend it, get you to work against yourself by paying you a wage to, code some Palantir spy network, AI or what have you. So everything they've done, the Goyim, if you would, has built it for them using the IOUs that they give them. The worthless IOUs backed by, well, obviously not oil anymore, thanks to this bullshit, thanks to Iran whooping the West's butt, because that's what they probably, one of the reasons why they had to invade Iran, to keep their petrodollar float. I don't know what's backing it now. Maybe they're selling lots of land on Mars to back their IOUs. Here's an IOU for $100,000. Oh, look, you got 1 hectare on Mars. Fantastic. Good on you. There you go. Backed by actual assets, so to speak. So this is what their currency is, and I really, that has to end. And because so few of these Zionists own the show and own all of the puppets, if you got rid of them overnight and got rid of their puppets in, court, got rid of AIPAC, declared it treason as it is, a foreign agent and all that sort of stuff that they killed JFK over because he was trying to register Israel as a foreign entity, and all the rest of it. He was the last true American president. LBJ, obviously Zionist behind, killed him. He was in on it. He was there covering up for that 1967 USS Liberty disaster or attack in the Mediterranean Sea off the coast of Egypt, because they picked up they were a spy ship, and they picked up transmissions of Israelis shooting and killing Egyptian POWs, a war crime, and the list goes on. Anyway, what was the point? I forget. Oh yeah, back to Iran war. How about those F-15s that got taken out? 3 of them within 12 hours over Kuwait. Now look at the proximity of Kuwait to Iran. It's right up against the Iranian border. We know that the Russians gave them Su-35s. They could fire an R-37M missile from standoff distances. Well, first of all, Kuwaitis air defences are not going to pick up an Su-35 at standoff distances. The R-37M missile can go up to 300 k's, and it has struck Ukrainian jets in Ukraine I think world record was well over 200 kilometres anyway. So they could be loitering at standoff distances on the Iranian side, firing missiles at F-15s on the Kuwaiti side, because they said it's friendly fire, but I kind of find that hard to believe, because how would the Kuwaitis not know that there's F-15s flying overhead, shooting at supposed Iranian rockets flying past and hitting F-15s instead? That lack of coordination is not feasible. That's not an excuse, the friendly fire excuse, from my reckoning. I don't think. And why would Kuwait be panicking over, firing off air defence missiles? First of all, they'd need to be under attack like Israel is. Their missiles are more short range. Like we've seen the so-called Patriot, which is hopeless, can't even defend itself, go up there against these rockets that Iran fires. And they're very short distances, and they fire them off in panic when they see something coming in. So there was no such panic. I don't even think Kuwait has a US airbase or anything, because Iran was targeting US air bases. I don't think Kuwait has any reason to panic, fire off Patriots, which somehow can't hit the most basic incoming decoys. You've seen the Iranian rockets, they break up and they just fall at it seems like a very slow speed, full of decoys. One of those decoys is an actual active warhead, or maybe a few, and then all of a sudden a rocket fires from this falling debris, so to speak. A rocket fires and then boom, really, really quickly hits its target. That's a very interesting weapon. Obviously confuses the hell out of air defences, and probably wouldn't work anyway, but it's so. And then, well, what happens then? I would suspect that they're very accurate. I've noticed that they're very accurate. They're probably using the local. I can't see them using GPS. That'll be jammed or interfered with, or what have you. Starlink. They're probably picking up transmissions from local 4G or 5G towers. They don't really need to encrypt anything. They just need to know where they are. They're going to transmit radiation. So just detect our radiation from 3 points, 3 towers, to coordinate where it is, and then find its target relative to those coordinates, and then launch that rocket from the falling debris. Boom, bang, hits its target spot on. I would suggest something like that's going on, because to pinpoint that kind of a target from such a long distance from Iran would be very difficult. They just drop it in with a whole bunch of debris and decoys. You see that it looks like flares falling. It looks like almost like phosphorus except yellow at night falling, and that sort of drops it in the zone. And then it knows that if it's dropped in that zone, to pick up where the 4G, 5G towers are, and detect the radiation that it's transmitting, to coordinate. What do they call that in orienteering? With the compass and the map, they call it. What is it called? Triangulation, I think. You take different measurements from different positions, markers, and find out where the lines cross. Find out where you are, and so something like that in a 3-dimensional form, of course, and then hit its target. As I said, that's probably what's going on there. And I would say that there are some Iranian pilots with very Russian accents in Su-35s firing R-37M missiles from Iran across to Kuwait, taking out F-15s. Because the F-15s are supposedly at standoff distance too, trying to fire missiles into Iran. But you've got to remember, the R-37M is a very long-range air-to-air missile. There's nothing like that. The Americans cannot possibly shoot the Su-35s. I don't know if they even show up on radar. Who knows? Maybe they do. Then what? We're going to fire at them from long distance. Not much. So I'll wrap it up there, and because I'm rambling, because I'm focusing on getting to work right now. But I think I've covered a lot of stuff nonetheless. Have a good day.